Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, thank you for tuning in. We've got UFC Fight Night 46. The UFC makes a return to Ireland, and we've got some really good fights and a great opportunity to make some serious money. Some really good fighters that I've done my work on, and they really do pass the test. Not only that, they shine. And I can't wait to take the test. So like I said, the work is done. Now let's put it all to the test. So in the first fight of the night, we have Holohan versus Sampo. Now the bottom line with this fight is that we have a really good wrestler going up against a hometown hero. You know, we've got a guy here who has the possibility of pulling off the upset, and the last thing we need is to trust our money in Sampo here, who's going to have a big wrestling advantage, only to lose it all to a guy who's going to be fueled by the hometown, you know, fueled by the cheering and the commotion of the crowd, and you know, Sampo making that big flight across the pond. Barely making weight. So we have to proceed with caution here, as much as I'd love to pull the trigger on Sampo because I do recognize the talents that he has. We have to hold steady here, hold fast, and say do not bet. But I definitely think Sampo will win. I definitely think it'll be by decision, and I definitely think it'll be a wrestler type of fight. You know, him being on top, controlling, dictating what happens. And then Holohan, you know, he has an opportunity here to perhaps scramble something in a transition or something along those lines, creating a scramble, creating a shuffle, you know, something. But let's just, like I said, there are other great opportunities to bet. So let's not go ahead and push it here too much. So Sampo for the win, for the decision, but a do not bet. And the next fight is another example of a fight where I'm going to go ahead and pass on it, and that is Donovan versus Krylov. Donovan, you know, the big knock on him is his chin, you know, and he's slow too. You know, it's chin and he's slow. And with Krylov, you know, he's just so young in his UFC career. And he has shown improvement, though, and that's why I'm going to favor him. I'm going to go with Krylov by knockout, you know, because of Donovan's chin. If I was in Donovan's camp, you know, I'd tell him, hey, we have to avoid getting hit, period. Take him down, use your jiu-jitsu. Donovan will have better jiu-jitsu than Krylov here, and submit him. But with Krylov, like I said, he's younger. He is actually improving, whereas Donovan is not improving at all. And he's going to have that opportunity for the knockout. So I got to go with Krylov here. I got to go with the knockout. Do not bet. And this next fight is a fight that I have been very excited about. A fight that I've been looking forward to because I really like Tor Trang. So Tor Trang versus Trevor Smith. Now, with Tor Trang, we know we have a guy who is training very hard, as most guys do, but he's at a very good camp, and he's got Gustafsson, Latifi as training partners. And the one fight that really stood out to me was when he took on Sapo, when he took on what's his face, Rafael Natal. I'm so used to calling him Sapo, but when he took on Rafael Natal, you know, he went in there and really showed heart, really showed a chin, really just showed what he's made of. You know, just a durable guy, very good power, and I was really impressed with him. I really was impressed with him. And with Trevor Smith is a guy that I have never been impressed with. Although in the last fight he had, no, it was actually the fight. Yeah, the fight with Brian Houston, where where I was like, okay, all right, Smith, when are you going to gas? When are you going to gas? When are you going to gas? And he showed a little bit of improvement on the cardio, but not enough for me to say, hey, you know what? I have to pass on Tor. So Tor for the win by knockout because Smith's chin is that bad. We saw what Taylor's Latis did to him, and Latis is improving, but still, Tor's got better stand-up than him. Tor should be able to keep it on the feet if that's what he wants, and that's what I would hope he would want here, and I think that's what his good coaches will tell him. And I see Tor getting the knockout, so we'll be betting Tor, but there are better opportunities besides Tor. And for the next fight, this will be one of the ones where it's best to wait and see because Pendred here, he is actually a welterweight fighting at 185, and King is a huge middleweight, so it's going to be skill versus size, and with Mike King having to make that flight across the Atlantic, it's going to be more. It's going to be more of a fight for Pendred to lose, for Cahal to lose, than it is for Mike King to win here. So although I was tempted to bet Cahal, I'm going to say pass for now until he makes it back down to his natural weight of 170. I think King will be competitive, but not enough to go and say, oh, I'm going to go with King for the upset. But just to pass on this one, let's wait and see let Pendred get his win here, and then drop him down to 170, and we'll keep a close eye on him. Okay, this next one here, Harris versus Seery, Part 2. These guys already fought once, and Harris won. But doing the work on these guys, watching the footage, Seery has impressed me, especially in his last fight against Pickett. I really like the Siri guy. He'll be at home. I can't believe the price where it's sitting at right now. Minus 150, minus 160. That's a great price. If I was in Harris' corner, say, hey, buddy, you know what? You can't get hit. Very much like earlier in the fight, with Donovan. You can't get hit because if you get hit, you're going to get knocked out. And Siri not only has the ability to TKO him, but also to submit him. So this is a great fight for Siri, another good opportunity for us to bet. And I'm going to go with Siri by knockout, and we'll be betting him a little bit later. And we have a light heavyweight fight here, Latifi versus Dempsey. Now, the only reason Dempsey's fighting on this card is because Tom Lawler got injured. So Latifi has just an alley-oop of a fight here. And I have really been impressed with Latifi and what he has shown. This guy is just a tank, just a big tank of a guy. And I really think that Latifi's strength is to take his opponent down, ground and pound, and work a submission. Just power, power. And with Dempsey, one thing Dempsey can offer is, first of all, Dempsey is not a 205 fighter. This guy should be fighting at 185 and middleweight. Dempsey does have wrestling, but Latifi has, to me, underrated skills. I mean, Latifi is going to be my top pick of the night, and I'm really excited for this fight. I'm predicting Latifi submission round 1, and oh man, I can't wait for that one. I really can't. Next fight, once again, I'm going to sound like, I'm just hyping this up, but I really can't wait for this fight either. Another great opportunity here for us. It's one of those things where, knock on wood, I proceeded with a lot of caution because a lot of times when it looks so simple and so easy, that's not the case, and so very cautious here and very, it's been a long week for me, just analyzing everything, taking a look at everything, and not wanting to give an inch. And so we've got Norman Parke versus Kotani. Kotani has already fought in the UFC. Unfortunately, he was not good enough. He got sent off, but he's pulled off a 14 fight winning streak, so he's back. just winning around a dozen fights in a row. UFC decided to bring him back, and good for him. But he's going up against a guy who is just a beast. I really like this kid, and I think Parke will get a finish here, knockout TKO round 2. And just Parke's been really impressive, very, very impressive to me. Just overall game, wrestling and striking. I think in this fight, Kotani obviously is going to want to take it to the ground and use the jiu-jitsu, but Parke is going to have the wrestling advantage, the takedown defense, and definitely a striking advantage. So I love Parke in this fight. He'll be my number 2 pick, and I expect him to get a finish here. This next fight is very, very, very interesting here. We've got 2 very, very good fighters, McCall versus Pickett. Now, McCall, most of us know his story. He's hot, cold, has very bad company, very stressful, probably stresses himself out way more than he should. And at one point, everybody was saying he was the number 1 flyweight in the world, and he can hang with Demetrius Johnson. If you can hang with Demetrius Johnson and arguably beat him or maybe beat him, you're a very good fighter. And then we've got a guy in Brad Pickett who just defies logic. I mean, this guy is just one tough guy, and man, he looks focused, he looks motivated. They both know that whoever wins this fight is probably going to fight Demetrius Johnson after he just steamrolls through Carriazo for the title. So these guys are both very motivated. With McCall, we've got that question, how is he going to look in this fight? And is he just going to be satisfied with putting on an exciting fight? Or is he going to go out there and show the world that he can be right up there at the top? With Pickett, he's been one of my favorite fighters for a while now. I'm very, very impressed with him. But the one thing I am concerned about with him is his age and his chin. He's got punched a lot in the face, a lot in the chin. He's a very, very tough, durable guy. Like I said, just a very one of those guys that you watch and it's just very it's like an honor to watch this guy. He's just a master, just a very, very good fighter. But his chin, his age, and a motivated McCall, is going to be very difficult to beat. So the price, this should be, it should be closer to a pick'em. But not enough for me to say, hey, there's value or there's enough on Pickett that not only can I see him winning, but it's worth the bet even if he loses. So it's going to be a pass. So do not bet. But my pick is going to ultimately be McCall by decision. That's what my brain is telling me. So that's what my pick is going to be. Now, take it all aside as a fan. Who would I like to see win? I'd like to see Pickett. But if I had to bet, I would say I would put my bet on McCall. So, McCall by decision. And moving right along here to the last 2 fights. So here we have a situation where the UFC is going back to Ireland. And the UFC is going back to Ireland, and they have these 2 guys in Nelson and McGregor, who are their just main attractions. They are the lions in the circus. They are the ones who will bring the crowd and get everybody hyped up, and with good reason, especially Nelson. With Nelson, we've got a guy who is just a jiu-jitsu master. I mean, this guy is awesome to watch on the ground. Very, very talented. Has competed at the highest level, beat some of the best guys. He's got very, very good striking, very interesting, unorthodox type of karate striking, and he could possibly fight at 155, but right now he's winning at 170, so why change it? And with Zak Cummings, we've got a guy who's very durable, underrated, and just a tough guy. He if you take a look at his losses, they're against respectable fighters. So, he's not a joke. And Gunnar Nelson is not one to take things lightly and take things as a joke. His demeanor is very laid back and calm, but this guy is intense, focused, and he's going to get the win here. So Gunnar Nelson by submission in round 1. And the price, of course, is very steep, but if you take a look at the whole grand scheme of things, the price is there for a reason. So definitely we'll be betting Nelson, and definitely will be excited for this fight. And the main event, we got McGregor versus Brandao. Now, man, I could talk about this fight forever, but I'm not gonna. McGregor, here is a guy who is very, very talented, very confident, which is good. Believes in himself, which is good. But there's a fine line between being very confident, believing in yourself, and then taking it too far. And with Diego Brandao, this fight was supposed to be against Cole Miller. Cole Miller, man, that was a gimme fight for McGregor. I mean, that's just a stepping stone. That's just a easy peasy fight. But with Diego Brandao, a Diego Brandao that is in shape and is motivated, which he is. In shape, that's 1. Motivated, that's 2. And then the third thing is, if he goes in there and is focused solely on getting the takedown and working his excellent jiu-jitsu, his excellent Brazilian jiu-jitsu, this is a dangerous fight for Conor McGregor. If Brandao goes in there, tries to fight like he did Dustin Poirier, where we bet the farm on Poirier, and thankfully he came through, then McGregor's going to get a showcase fight, and the UFC is going to get what they want. They're going to see McGregor knock out Brandao in round 1, and that's that. With McGregor, it'll be interesting to see how McGregor's career plays out in the UFC. That's all I say. That's all I will say for now. And I can't wait to see who they match him up with next. As far as a pick goes here, I'm going to go with McGregor by knockout round 1. As for the bet, we'll get into that in a little bit. So that takes care of that. Now let's go ahead and get to the good stuff here. Let's go ahead and get to the bets. 5 stars. Unfortunately, there are none, although there are 3 4 stars, 1 which almost made the 5-star range. For the 4 stars, we have Latifi, who will be a large play, Parke, who will be a large play, and Nelson, who will be a large play as well. 3 4-star picks, Latifi, Parke, and Nelson, all large plays. 3 stars, we have Tor Trang, he will be a small play, and Seery, he will be a small play. Both 3 stars, both small plays. Now, as far as the bets go, 1 unit equals 1% of the bankroll. Okay, so here are my MMA dog bets. I have it Latifi at minus 235, parlayed with Parke at minus 340. That's going to give us minus 118, 3 units to win 2.54. Latifi plus Nelson at minus 550. That's going to give me minus 146, 3 units to win 2.05. Parke plus Nelson, that's going to give us minus 189, 1 unit to win 0.53. Seery at minus 145 plus Parke at minus 340. That's going to give us plus 119. I have a unit on that to win 1.19. Tor at minus 160 plus Nelson at minus 550. That gives us minus 109. 1 unit to win 0.92. Now this play will be a little interesting play here. Brandao by submission at plus 996. A quarter unit. 0.25 units to win 2.49. And the opposite, pretty much the opposite bet will be McGregor by knockout TKO at minus 200. Half a unit to win a quarter unit. So 0.5 units. 0.5 units to win 0.25 units. So the bet here is that if McGregor wins, it's going to be by knockout. But if Brandao wins, it'll be by submission. And at plus 996, like I said in the little breakdown there, if he comes prepared, motivated like he appears to be, and doesn't suck into that game of, let's see who's the most macho man, try to knock each other's heads off, then this is a reality here with him training in San Antonio, training jiu-jitsu all day, every day. It's very likely could happen. So, we could even go heavier. I don't blame you if you want to go heavier on that bet, especially if you have several accounts. But that's what we're going to do for this one. Round robin of twos. Total bet is 1.32 units to win 5.32 units. Latifi. So that's a total bet. The total bet. Round robin of twos. Okay. Latifi inside the distance at minus 110. Parke inside the distance at plus 218. Nelson inside the distance at minus 140. And Tor Trang inside the distance at plus 126. So the total bet is 11.07 units to win anywhere from 12.80 to 15.04 units. So that sums it up. I am looking to have a successful UFC Fight Night 46, coming off a successful UFC Fight Night 45. And that is going to do it for tonight. It's been a very long week full of work, and breaking down these fights, making sure every stone is turned and that everything is taken a look at. So with that being said, it is time to say goodnight. Check out our website, mmadawgs.com. My dog has been putting in a lot of work on the website, on social media, and I've been watching fights on top of the fights and bets on top of bets. So that does it all. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys back next weekend when we got Lawler against Brown, and wow, that is a fight I am looking forward to. I am in shock that it is not on a pay-per-view. So we will be in for a real treat there, and I hope you guys take good care.